Hello friends, today we are going to learn about values in the field of organizational behavior. Values have a major influence on person's behavior and attitude and serve as a broad guidelines in all situations. They help us become who we are and are a huge part of our makeup, ethical compass and ultimately personality. This will help us to understand the needs and underlying emotions of a person and his responses. So let's get started with our session. The objective of this session are to know about values and how they are formed, values and its types, values across culture. Is capital punishment right or wrong? If a person likes power, is that good or bad? The answers to these questions are value-laden. Some might argue capital punishment is right because it is an appropriate retribution for crimes such as murder and treason. Others might argue just as strongly that no government has the right to take anyone's life. Values represent basic conviction that a specific mode of conduct or end state of existence is personally or socially preferable to an opposite or converse mode of conduct or end state of existence. They contain a judgmental element in that they carry an individual ideas as to what is right, good or desirable. Values are stable, evaluative beliefs that guide our preference for outcome or courses of action in a variety of situations. They are perception about what is good or bad, right or wrong. Values don't just represent what we want, they state what we ought to do, socially desirable ways to achieve our needs. They influence our choice of goals and the means for achieving those goals. Values have both content and intensity attributes. The content attribute says a mode of conduct or end state of existence is important. The intensity attribute specifies how important it is. When we rank an individual's values in terms of their intensity, we obtain that person's value system. All of us have a hierarchy of values that forms our value system. We find it in a relative importance we assign to values such as freedom, pleasure, self-respect, honesty, obedience, and equality. People arrange values into a hierarchy of preferences called a value system. Some individuals value new challenges more than they value conformity. Others value generosity more than frugality. Each person's unique value system is developed and reinforced through socialization from parents, religious institutions, friends, personal experiences, and the society in which he or she lives. The values of a person holds will affect his or her employment. For example, someone who has an orientation towards strong simulation may pursue extreme sports and select an occupation that involves fast action and high risk, such as firefighter, police officer, or emergency medical doctor. Someone who has a drive for achievement may more readily act as an entrepreneur. Moreover, whether individuals will be satisfied at a given job may depend on whether the job provides a way to satisfy their dominant values. Therefore, understanding employees at work require understanding the value orientations of employees. How are values formed? Values are usually shaped by many different internal and external influences including family, traditions, culture, and more recently media and the internet. A person will filter all of these influences and meld them into a unique value set that may differ from the value sets of others in the same culture. Values are thought to develop in various stages during a person's upbringing and they remain relatively consistent as children mature into adults. Sociologist Maurice Massey outlines 3 critical development periods for an individual's value system. Imprint period, that is birth to the age of 7. Individuals begin establishing the template for what will become their own values during this period. Modeling period, that is from age of 8 to 13. The individual's value template is sculpted and shaped by parents, teachers, and other people and experiences in the personal life. Socialization period, that is from the age of 13 to 21. An individual fine-tunes values through personal exploration and comparing and contrasting with other people's behavior during the socialization period. What are the different types of values? Values come in many forms, and scholars have devoted considerable attention to organizing them into coherent groups. Social psychologist Shalom Schwartz reduced dozens of personal values into these 10 broader domains of values and further organized these domains into 4 clusters structured around 2 higher order bipolar dimensions. The first is openness to change and conservation. One dimension is Schwartz model has openness to change at one extreme and conservation to the other extreme. Openness to change represents the extent to which are motivated to pursue innovative ways. It corresponds to the values of self-direction, that is independent thought and action, and stimulation, that is excitement and challenge. Conservation, the opposite end of this dimension, is the extent to which a person is motivated to perceive the status quo. Conservation is associated with the values of conformity, that is adherence to social norms and expectations, security, that is safety and stability, and tradition, modern and preservation of the status quo. Self-enhancement and self-transcendence. The other bipolar dimension in Schwartz model ranges from self-enhancement to self-transcendence. Self-enhancement is how much a person is motivated by self-interest is related to the values of achievement, that is pursuit of personal success and power, that is dominance over others. Self-transcendence, the other extreme of this dimension, refers to the motivation to promote the welfare of others. It relates to the value of benevolence, that is concern for others in one's life, and universalism, that is concern for welfare of all people and nature. Let us learn something about Trokage value survey. What are the values people care about? There are many typologies of values. One of the most established surveys to assess individual values is the Rockage value survey. This survey lists 18 terminal values and 18 instrumental values in alphabetical order. Terminal values refer to the end states people desire in life, such as leading a prosperous life and a world at peace, whereas instrumental values deal with views on acceptable modes of conduct, such as being honest and ethical and being ambitious. According to Rockage, values are arranged in hierarchical fashion. In other words, an accurate way of assessing someone's value is to ask them to rank the 36 values in the order of importance. By comparing these values, people develop a sense of which value can be sacrificed to achieve the other, and the individual priority of each value emerges. On the following pages are 2 listed values, 18 terminal values and 18 instrumental values. Terminal values are the end result values describing what you want to get out of life. Instrumental values are the ways you seek to accomplish your terminal values. Terminal values are marked with T and instrumental values are marked with I. Your task is to put each value in a priority order. Number 1 matters the most and number 18 matters the least. For how each value matters to you, how much of the guiding principle is each value in your life? Don't worry about how you believe you should prioritize the list or how others might prioritize it for themselves or how they might prioritize it for you. Prioritize the list according to the way things are for you. Print the terminal values and instrumental values on separate pieces of paper that you can cut into individual blocks. Start with the terminal value blocks. What is it you want most out of the life? Arrange the blocks according to what matters most to you. When you are finished arranging your terminal values, copy the results onto the terminal values blank sheet. Ignore why this matters to me column for the moment. Do the same thing with the instrumental values block. What is the most important thing to you about the way you go about achieving your terminal values? Again, arrange the blocks according to what matters most to you. After you have finished prioritizing your instrumental values, transcribe them onto the instrumental values blank form. The final step of identifying your terminal and instrumental values is to write short sentences about the meaning of each value. For example, if national security is one of your highest values, you might understand and yourself better by identifying why it is important priority for you. There are a couple of ways you can do this exercise. You can arrange the values in a first thought that comes to a mind manner. Some people believe that this way most closely reflects how you see yourself. The other way is to spend some time on the project thinking carefully about your choices. Other people believe that a carefully thought out response more accurately reflects your view of yourself. Either way, your goal is to identify how you see yourself. Nothing is set in stone. At any time, you should go back and change the ranked order of either list if you have any new thoughts about your answers. When you have finished ranking both the sets of values, you should have a fairly accurate picture of how you really feel about what's important in your life. Why is this important? There are several reasons. First, people tend to try to accomplish similar results using similar means in a variety of situations in their lives and relationships. Sometimes, it is helpful to step back and see oneself through new eyes. Second, not everyone sees things the same way as another person does. Conflicts can arise when people hold different values and means of accomplishing their values. Understanding and, more importantly, accepting this may help you work more effectively with others who have very different terminal and instrumental values. What is value congruence? Value congruence refers to a situation where two or more entities have similar value systems. Unfortunately, significant incongruence between personal and organization values seem to be more common. Incongruence between the value system of employees and their organization has a number of consequences. Values are guideposts, so employees whose values differ markedly from the organizational values might make decisions incompatible with the organization's goal. Incongruence also leads to lower job satisfaction and organizational commitment, as well as higher stress and turnover among employees. Does this mean that the most successful organization perfectly align employee values with the organization values? Not at all. While a comfortable degree of value congruence is necessary for the reasons noted above, organizations also benefit from some level of values incongruence. Employees with diverse values offer different perspective on issues which may lead to better decision making. The conflict resulting from values incongruence among employees can sharpen everyone's thinking about the definition of the problem and the rationale for preferred choices. Moreover, too much congruence can create a corporate cult that potentially undermines creativity, organizational flexibility, and business ethics. Values across culture. Anyone who has worked long enough in other countries will know that values differ across cultures. Some cultures value group decisions, whereas others think that leaders should take charge. Meetings in Germany usually start on time, whereas that may be half an hour late in Brazil without much concern. We need to understand differences in culture values to avoid unnecessary conflict and misunderstanding between people from different countries. What is individualism and collectivism? No cross-cultural values have attracted more attention or controversy and misunderstanding than individualism and collectivism. What is individualism and collectivism? Individualism is the extent to which we value independence and personal uniqueness. Highly individualist people values personal freedom, self-sufficiency, control over their own lives, and appreciation of unique qualities that distinguish them from others. Collectivism is the extent to which we value our duty to the groups to which we belong and to the group harmony. Highly collectivist people define themselves by their group membership and value harmonious relationships within those groups. Collectivism is located within the conservative range of values, that is security, tradition and conformity. Okay friends, let us summarize today's session. We learned about what are values and value system. Values are stable, evaluative beliefs that guide our preference for outcomes or courses of action in a variety of situations. When we rank an individual values in terms of their intensity, we obtain a personal value system. Value congruence refers to situation where two or more entities have similar value system. Unfortunately, significant incongruence between personal and organization values seem to be common. We also learned that we need to understand differences in cultural values to avoid unnecessary conflicts and misunderstandings between people from different countries. That is all for today's session for values. Thank you.